medium. More 80, 85, 85, 90, 90, 90. Yes!
We've been here 50 years, although the building itself is 100 years old. And it's a traditional fish smoking factory, and the actual fish smoking process is unchanged in that time, although we have modernised the premises. I first applied for the Protected Geographical Indication, the EU status, 10 years ago when I saw it advertised in a magazine. And then the council came on board soon after that, and we formed a group, but it's taken us 10 years to actually achieve it. Well, the other companies we worked with to achieve the PGI were it was David Atkinson at Atkinson's Fish Merchants, Ian Button at MTL Fish Curers, and Mark Wheatley at GH Abernethy's.
Four of us, or rather everybody who smoked fish in the traditional manner, was invited to join this group about 10 years ago by Richard Enderby. And he insisted that because of the unusual process that we use to smoke fish, that this should have some form of protection that passed by Brussels. And when he first went down this road, I can't pretend, I didn't say to myself, well, I'm not sure this will ever happen. But if it does, it's got to be a good thing.
The award will mean that the cured product that we've always done is recognised throughout the country alongside the likes of Parma ham, Milton Mowbray pork pies. People can be sure that it's a process that's been handed down by generations and since more or less time began, because products have always been either smoked or salted to preserve, to give a natural flavour for later on. This is carried on now in this century from many years ago.
To receive the PGI was great. You know, finally we got recognition for the hard work, what goes into producing traditional smoked fish, as opposed to kiln cured fish. We're looking at 24-hour turnover of fish. Nothing's changed in 100 years. It's still very, very manual, but it produces a much better product. And I think now we've got acknowledgement that it is a better product compared to what the kiln smokers do and what most supermarkets sell.
Well, you can see the lads over there filleting. The fish has come off the market now, and they spend all day filleting it. And as it's filleted, it's then put into a brine, and it's just soaked in there for about 10 or 15 minutes. We've got two natural brines, but the end one has got colouring in it, and that's how you get your yellow fillet. It's just colouring, it's nothing to do with the smoking process. And there's less and less being coloured these days. The vast majority is the natural smoked. Now if you turn around, you'll see there's a load of sawdust behind you, and it just gives you an idea how much sawdust we use in the smoking process, much more than they do in the kiln smoking. We use probably 10 times as much as they do. So we put the sawdust at the bottom of the smokehouse. We put a bag in each house, and that's lit at the end of the day once the fish is in the house, and it slowly smoulders overnight, so it's sort of like half burnt across by the morning. The bottom fish are ready, we get those out, and then to sort of speed up the process, to finish off the remaining fish, we open up the houses a bit so that it smokes a bit more. But it's a cold smoking process, there's no heat involved. There's cold air and smoke just wafting up, and that just dries the fish sufficiently to take it out upstairs and then pack it.
Well, by getting the PGI, we've secured our future. Everyone's been a little bit worried when the kilns were first introduced, because it's mass production, it's much cheaper to produce smoked fish through kilns because of the time differences in, you know, as opposed to 24 hours, you're looking at 3 or 4 hours. Again, by getting the PGI, the public see what we're doing, and I think they'll now ask for traditional smoked fish. And yeah, the future's rosy.
I am just very proud of what we produce. I always have been. You know, it just gives me a good feeling. When someone rings up and says how good the fish is, or someone might, one of the public, come in the shop and say, well, I've never tasted such good smoked fish in my life. That is a very rewarding feeling. We do it to make a living, but at the same time, those rewards are probably just as satisfying.